Okay, let's take a look at SSO. Technical breaches occurred, and I'll tell you what I think through. First of all, I want to identify which strategy it is, which is A or B. And let me go ahead and share my screen, and we can take a look at the chart. Okay, so a technical breach occurs. Let's just use, oh, how about right here? Okay, it's probably could go back 3 months. Okay, actually, let's go back 6 months. Let's assume, okay, these are all pretend scenarios. Let's assume that I wanted to enter a position and I was utilizing the A strategy. Okay, in this case, normally whenever you're getting out, the 21, it usually breaches the 21 first before it gets to the 50 day, but sometimes you're going to get some of this chop that goes on. So it's going to bounce above and around the 50 day. In this case, let's say, okay, let's say you just, you're thinking you're just starting to get in the market. You're starting to look at a potential trade and you're looking to buy a position. Okay, you've got kind of this chop here, and then all of a sudden you find a technical crossover, which is on the A strategy. Oops, the A strategy, and you can go here. So I can line that up, which is, you can see the line. Roughly, you've got it a technical breach above the 21-day EMA. Okay, that's the 8-day EMA, and you've also got it at the same time rising above the 21-day EMA right there. There you go. So you're thinking, okay, it's not quite there, and you haven't have a positive MACD crossover yet, but it's close. Then what you may want to do is look somewhere around here, that once it's gone over, you're still waiting, and it probably takes maybe 3 days or so, it looks like, and it's hard to tell on that blue line. But you decide to enter on this day, which is $65.38, or you get a technical breach above the 21-day and the MACD, and you think, okay, you wake up the next day, because this, I always use end of day. You wake up the next day and it's still hovering above those. It trended a little lower, okay, but you decide to go ahead and buy it. So you're buying it on this day, or you may be buying it back here on this day, whatever that may be, on the July 8th, 2020. And then the next day you go ahead and buy it and you stay in this position. Okay, and as long as I've got those two things going, but then you see a crossover. Now it crossed below MACD, but remember, I always look for two things. I look for, on the strategy A, that it crosses below both. Okay, unless it crosses below both, I stay in the position. Okay, till it got to here, and then it went under. Okay, so this trade, if I were utilizing A strategy, I'd be getting in about, I don't know, somewhere here, like here. Yeah, let's call it $65. Then I would have had another crossover breach about here. So I would have gotten out maybe $76, or I may have used the 3-day rule and said, okay, that second day, or maybe this third day, technical breach, you got 1, 2, 3. On the 4th day, you think, okay, this is the next day. You wake up, this is the 4th day of the correction that's happening. You've definitely got a crossover below the 21 and the MACD crossover. This is kind of getting scary for you if you're utilizing A. If you're utilizing B, you got nothing to worry about at this point. Okay, but what ends up happening is, on the 4-day rule, it bounces above, but then it doesn't hold. So I would have probably, just if it were me, maybe done, I'm just using this as an example, SSO. If you would have put a stop loss about there, you would have probably gotten stop loss. You would have stopped out somewhere around here at $71. So you would have been in it on the A, and then gotten out on the A and the B combination, which is just a good example, at 71, and you have gotten in at like 60 something. And that's, if you look at it, maybe a 90-day trend, somewhere around July, August, September. Yeah, something like 90 days, which isn't bad. But then you went through some kind of ugliness, okay, shake and bake. But what you're going to find is, if you're looking at the 155, this is a great example of the 155. gotten out here, if it stayed below the 155, that would tell me this is a much, much uglier macro level problem that's about to occur. But guess what it did? Just like clockwork, bounced off that 155 and kept on. So that's just a great chart to look at when you're looking at, okay, what do I do? How do I get into the market? What's the technical crossover breach? What's it look like? Maybe some of the thought process. I'll give you the thought process that I go through. I take a look at the chart. There are times when I want to go back maybe year to date, and I say, okay, it just bounced around a lot, with the A and B strategies. But you know what? It typically held up really well on the B strategy. So I may, instead of utilizing the A as a stop, or rather a technical breach that I would take action on, I may just let this SSO, which is a 2-time leverage fund, you know what? It only got ugly when it hit the 50-day. So that might be a decision that you might make. But always back test it. Always go back 6 months or a year and say, how did it react? So I can look back here 2 years and go, every time it went below the 50-day EMA for longer than 2 or 3 days, it was a downward motion of anywhere from 62 here, example, to like 57. That also maybe give you a good idea about what a stop loss. If it did go under, then maybe put a $5 stop loss, assuming you've been in it since way back here. So, this gives you at least just a visual about how it reacts to the three different indicators, or the A and the B and the 155, just to give you a better understanding of long term, how am I going to react? And so that's why I say either a technical breach has occurred on A, B, or the 155, depending on your time horizon. It's just a really great way to look at it. And it really is simple. Just look at the next day, see where it's trending. Might give it a day or two. If it's the second or third day, you may want to go ahead and put that stop in there to protect your downside. So I will see you at the next video demonstration.